Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce presents the Bowie Business Journal, a program designed to keep our community informed about important business and economic issues.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Bowie Business Journal. With me today in the studio is Brian Shallcross from the Bowie Baysox. He is the general manager. And I'm your host, David Emanuel, executive director of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce. And two things I want to say right off the bat, pardon the pun today, already is Brian, we've been trying to get Brian for the month of February. Twice we had to cancel because of weather mostly. Almost had to cancel today, so it's great finally to have this show going, even though we're going to be faced with some rough weather again this afternoon. And the other great thing is we have a virtual set, so I have no idea really what's behind us right now. So hopefully Jim isn't laughing too hard and putting like sets that Brian and I are in the desert somewhere, but we have a great new set here, and I know Jim's doing a great job with it. So Jim, can you do a quick zoom in or zoom out or whatever you want to do? Make us float around the studio or something? So yeah, excellent. So hopefully Brian and I are back safely now in the studio, looking at each other or looking at the viewers. So we're glad you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun with this in the future on these shows. There's even going to be new sets. Right now, Brian and I are sitting on what's called a green screen. You've probably seen them do that sometimes with special effects in the movies. So Brian and I are sitting in chairs right now, but surrounded by a green background and the good old Bowie Business Journal sign. So anyway, we are off and running, hopefully. And thank you again, Jim, for all your work with this and all the new sets and everything. So Brian, again, thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
And Brian, Bowie Baysox, you've obviously been part of it for
Long
time. We talked about this earlier.
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what got you into this, first of all? It's just let's start with you personally with working with the Baysox. How did you get involved in this?
Similar to a player that plays at our team that wants to get up to the major leagues. I started out in single A baseball. So I started out with the Delmarva Shorebirds. If you've traveled to Ocean City, it's right off Route 50. And so I worked 2 years for the Delmarva Shorebirds and got promoted up to Double A. And so I've been here ever since.
Fantastic. And Baysox Stadium has been here since 94. Okay. And then they are, let me get this right, the Baysox are the Class AA minor league baseball affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles.
Right.
Can you tell what that means exactly for some people who have absolutely no sports knowledge but love the Baysox? What is that?
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
So you have basically 6 teams, and you have the progression is single A to triple A to major leagues.
Okay.
So you have 4 teams that are single A, and within that, for the Orioles example, you would jump in Maryland from Aberdeen to Delmarva, then to Frederick, and then to Bowie, which is the first Double-A team. So each major league team only has 1 Double-A team and 1 Triple-A team. And in the Orioles example, the Triple-A team is in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. And the Baysox, what makes them like unique to this area? I understand too when I was reading some of the things on the website and doing a little bit of background research. First of all, the stadium itself is the largest minor league stadium in the state. Is that right?
Correct.
Other things along those lines that are kind of unique with the Baysox. I mean, that's a pretty cool stat, I thought, on its own, and just how much business and how much community-oriented stuff that the Baysox does, I think, makes you guys unique. Can you?
Yeah, from a physical standpoint, the actual stadium, when we built the stadium in 1994, we were the first minor league team to incorporate a carousel into our stadium.
Okay.
And so that really sets the tone of what we really are. We're about baseball, and we have to make sure we respect the integrity of the professional baseball game, and we are affiliated with a major league game. So we understand that what happens on the field is certainly of paramount importance. However, we get it that only 15% of our fans are true hardcore baseball fans. And the rest of them are out to have a good time.
Exactly.
So from a physical standpoint, we do have the carousel, which many minor league teams now have a carousel. So a couple years ago, we did something additionally that's unique to our ballpark, and we put up a 25-foot tall lighthouse. And it's our home run lighthouse. And so every time a Baysox player, not a visiting team, a Baysox player hits a home run, or a foghorn goes off and the lighthouse spins around. So that, from a physical perspective, that's what's unique. And minor league baseball is hyper local, similar to a chamber of commerce, which makes this relationship historically so good. But it's hyper local, and so it's imperative that we do programs in the community that are mutually beneficial. So we understand that we are custodians of taxpayer ballpark, okay? So the original ballpark was paid by us in part, and the county money and state money. So we understand we're custodians of the public trust. And so that responsibility means that we have to do public programs for the good. A lot of our community programs are based around schools. Initiatives such as reading programs, math programs, art programs, physical education programs. These type of programs, which are endorsed by the county, Prince George's County and Anne Arundel County and such, they're a vital part of our give back to the community. And from an economic standpoint, we're roughly a $1.1 million economic annual impact.
It's a tremendous business boost and business opportunity. We were talking about that earlier before we started filming. How many jobs, for example, does the Baysox provide?
Based on economic studies, our organization supports 200 full-time equivalency jobs. So that's direct and indirect.
Excellent. And going back to you said about the chamber and the relationship with the chamber and the community. Baysox have been a member how many years now?
We've been a member since we've been here. So 94.
Fantastic.
We actually started in 93 as an organization. In 93, we played in Baltimore and then moved to Bowie in 94.
Fantastic. So for 20 years, been a member. Can you talk a little bit about that? Bowie, as you always hear, Bowie has got that great hometown feeling, which it does, and that's what the Baysox provides. You talked about it earlier, where a lot of the fans aren't even necessarily baseball fans. It's just that hometown getting together type of feeling and what you do for the community. Can you talk about the importance of that, the community and the business, be it the Baysox, be it the chamber, why it's so important that it all meshes?
You know, so there's always been these controversies across the nation. Why would you allocate public money to a sports stadium as opposed to infrastructure in schools? And there's certainly plausible arguments. But from our perspective, we talked about the economic benefit, which is one aspect of it. But really, if you sit back and you say, where can a community gather together to share community bonding? And sports venues are certainly historically part of that experience. It's where our community comes together. I'm not going to overblow our value in that sense. But I'm going to tell you a quick story.
But you can, because you deserve it. You guys do a lot.
After 9/11, I was in Delmarva. And the radio station, we partnered with a radio station, and we just wanted to get everybody together, get our community together, talk about what had transpired. And overnight, 5,000 people got the word, and 5,000 people showed up at the community. No charge or anything like that. Right. So I think that's what stadiums can bring, other than the economic. I mentioned the $1.1 million economic. There's also a $1.2 million economic boost, non-financial. So we may donate tickets and things like that.
Right. It's constant what you guys are doing, from just some of the fun, even goofy events. Did you break a Guinness record that time? I remember years ago for the newspaper when we covered something. Were there a couple Guinness records broken when you do as many people? I forget whether it was doing the wave, but can you talk a little about some of those promotions you do? Those are a riot.
See, those things are great for our staff because it breaks up the monotony. So we've broken a few records. One was most fans sitting on a whoopee cushion.
Whoopee cushion. I thought whoopee cushion. Yeah, the whoopee cushion thing.
Sponsored by a Big Bean Company. So we had most people playing cowbell.
Okay.
Most people simultaneously brushing their teeth, which I had a fan chip their tooth on one of the toothbrushes and blame me. So I'm trying to think. I'm missing one. I think it's most people playing kazoo.
Okay. So. Absolutely great. Now, is that your job? Is that part of your job to come up with those, or who comes up with those? Or
smarter
classic idea.
So it's interesting because my undergraduate degree is in marketing.
Okay.
But what I've found is the people that on our staff are smarter than me when it comes to these things. So I have an enviable position of listening to all this brainstorm, and asserting my opinion, but literally saying, all right, majority rules here. Is this a good one? Is it over the line, or is it perfect?
That's great. What do you think too? Like you said, you've obviously got a great Baysox team itself, of the players, a great team of managers and representatives and staff that you work with. What would you say sets you apart then from some of the other stadiums or some of the other teams, either in Maryland or across up and down the East Coast? Because again, going back to that hometown thing, but what do you think? What makes you proud to be in that stadium working there?
Well, I'll tell you, what makes me most proud is some of the things that we've accomplished since we've been there, in partnership with our county landlord. Mm-hmm. So our ownership is really cognizant of the fan experience. Okay.
Right.
And so what he means by that is, okay, when that person comes and parks their car, someone taking care of them, the ticket taker, and all these things. But it's also the small things. Our playing surface. When you walk into our stadium and you see our playing surface, which our turf managers, the turf manager in all AA baseball 4 years ago, and last year was a turf manager of the Eastern League. It should take your breath away, and that's what we want.
Right.
That's what we want. We want to say, wow, this is not AstroTurf. Actually, people think it's AstroTurf.
Right.
It's that good. But we also have a new video board, new scoreboard. Each year, we try to add some amenities, a new birthday area, a new amenity that people say, wow, this is what's new in the ballpark. And from that perspective, it's also neat to come up with ideas and partnerships for local businesses of how we get the word out. You have a newspaper background. Certainly, businesses advertise in newspaper, but the atypical advertisement might be with us, where we have a promotion like baked beans sponsoring a whoopee cushion guy.
Yeah.
So that's the fun to see the different things we've done, and also because minor league baseball are not really competing against each other because we have our unique. Is we can go into our meetings with other staffs and say, hey, we did this, it was great. And they can steal the idea.
They can take the idea.
So it's a very unique situation because you wouldn't do that in any other industry because they'd be competitors of yours in this marketplace. But with us, do we compete with the Washington Nationals? A little bit.
Right.
But it's really a niche part of the entertainment industry. And that's where we have to focus on what our niche is.
Right, and it's so convenient and in such a great location. Was that, talk a little bit about that in the history too. Was that established right up front that this is where it was going to be, or did they have to go through a lot of locations in Prince George's County or Anne Arundel where they were going to put it?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that, about how the stadium actually came to be in that spot, which is such a great location?
The original location was going to be in Gateway Plaza.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was the original site location. And when this location, and actually, historically, the city of Bowie was very active in putting this team within this area. And we eventually settled on this location, which had to do more with the Park and Planning Commission and their abilities and their resources.
And for those watching the show who might not have a clue where it is, actually, can you give the exact address then of the stadium?
Yeah, it's 4101 Crane Highway, it's northeast Crane Highway. So really, Home Depot and BJ's behind there.
That's right. Excellent.
And that's Ballpark Road.
Ballpark Road,
you're
right.
in the right place if you're
That's
in
right.
Ballpark Road.
Excellent. Going back to some of the programs that you do, Baysox Stadium is also home. There's concerts. There's the haunted house every year that they do. How did that come about? I mean, to be that involved, I mean, it's constant. There's something going on there, it seems. And that's something you've got to be excited about, to keep it rolling through the year, and it's, keeping its name out there, obviously.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in that. We take a lot of pride in the fact that we have 71 home dates. And really, the stadium sits relatively empty for the other dates.
Right.
So it's really incumbent on us, and it certainly benefits the community to keep the stadium as active as we can, without overdoing it.
Right.
So you don't want to.
Right, you don't want to inundate. That's right.
You
Right.
don't want to put too many things on the field, let's say, industry field.
Right. Right.
You want to protect your core business. But things like charity softball games, concerts, we're having a festival this Saturday if we get the snow off the ground.
That's right.
So there are definitely uses to the stadium
And
there.
several chamber events we've had there. Some of the mixers, some of the upcoming events that we're gonna have there. Some of the breakfasts. That room that some people don't even know about. That is such a great room. What is the
Diamond.
The diamond. It's the diamond. Yeah. It's an excellent spot just for get-togethers, for mixers, probably for reunions and things like that. We had our mixer there. I believe when was it? Do you remember the
December?
month? Or was it December? December mixer. I think we had at Baysox, and it was great. Did the cornhole, the beanbagging. It was terrific in there. So Chamber couldn't be more happy to have you on board. And for 20 years, that's great. So we really appreciate you being on board with us too. Again, getting back to what you do with the community, especially the kids. I want to talk about too. We didn't talk about that yet. The Hope program, which is something else. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about and what?
What's interesting is when you take from a look at our marketing perspective, you take a look at who our target demographic is. Now we're talking business here. And so now we're talking marketing. And when we boil everything down, our target demographic is 3 to 12-year-olds. So any child, 5 or 6, we really don't care about any other factors. If a 5-year-old can come to our ballpark, we are thrilled because a 5-year-old doesn't come alone. So it comes with a parent. So you'd see a lot of our programs are focused to that 3 to 12-year-old. So whether it's a math program, we have something called Pi Day, where students memorize the places of pi because it's an infinite number.
Right.
And it doesn't repeat itself. So we partner with the math coordinators to handle this program and give them incentives. And then we have a reading program, so we would focus on with the reading coordinators. If they read 4 books, they get a free ticket to a Baysox games. We've done a lot of work with fighting drug abuse, fighting inhalant abuses. So we'll partner with these nonprofits, and if they have a valuable and local way that they want to get the message out, we like to partner with those.
That's terrific, terrific, absolutely great. And also too, along the lines with the kids too, you do the national anthem tryouts. That's coming up soon too, as a matter of fact, isn't it?
Yes,
is it
it
in a
is.
couple of weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yep, excellent. How does that work? Anybody can try out?
Anybody.
Young, no age limit or what? That's terrific.
Nope.
And
Come out, show us what you got.
That's great. How many years have you done that? All the 20 years, or is that something?
No. I want to say we've done that for about maybe 12 years, last 12 years.
Okay.
And it got really popular when the American
Idol was at its craze at the top, right? That's great. Excellent. And then the first home game is April 16th, right? Okay. All right.
We start on the road, and so
That's interesting. You start on the road, right? And then the home game, first one is the 16th.
Yeah, we like starting on the road too.
Okay.
Well, because April's a hit or miss. It can be cold.
This is true.
So we like starting the later the better.
That's true. That's excellent. Any other programs too? While we're on the topic of the programs, like the Hope Project, the things that Louis does, a little bit with Louis, the mascot. Any other like educational or like the reading programs that you want to talk a little bit more about, the specifics of some of them, and then we'll go into some of the other.
I think one of the crucial things that we do, David, in the community with the nonprofits is fundraise. And so we are a significant source of the fundraising dollars for a lot of local nonprofits. And the fundraising is really simple. It's a ticket, either a general admission ticket or a box seat, where we essentially give it to you for a drastically reduced price. And the nonprofit sells them to the community. So it's a very mutually beneficial arrangement because we get more people in the stands. But it is a significant program for things like youth baseball, which obviously has its very, very unique tie to us. But really, there's a myriad of nonprofits that we work with. And any nonprofit that wants to raise money with us, we've got online programs as well. So you don't have to deal with physical tickets. You can set up a program where it's online and it's all will call based. We do have youth initiatives for youth baseball, which you would imagine. So we'll be out at the Bowie opening day with Louie, and we have a day exclusively dedicated to Louie.
Excellent.
And we're raising money this year. We auction our jerseys. We're going to auction our jerseys. We're going to specialty American jerseys auctioned off to benefit the local VFW and the state
Fantastic.
VFW. So those are the type of programs that we're engaged with. We have one day that we call Knockout Cancer Night, and we will partner with a bunch of different advocacy for various cancers and look to raise money and awareness.
Wonderful. Wonderful. The other thing, too, the players get involved, too, in a lot, right? From the autographs to working with the kids on some things. Can you talk a little about that the team really has that hometown spirit as well, like some of the things that they do? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, in fact, a lot of the players live in the community. So a lot of the players will live with host families. So we have a booster club that will take in a player for the summer. And they do get involved. I actually got a nice letter from a director of a hospital the other day. We had a player go see a young girl that was in need of some cheer. So our guys will do some hospital appearances. And we also do baseball camps where they get involved. And they'll also do some signings inside the stadium and outside events.
That's excellent. And too, I'll tell the viewers that as well. The website is great. There is a lot of information. It's not just what the scores were. There is a ton of info on the Baysox website. So you guys do a great job. Me not being much of a tech guy, I know that's a great site. That looks like it's a very well done website. How else can people, can kids get involved or the community get involved with you all? You do so much. Is there a way that they can help you out as well, or that
we started this program about 10 years ago. It's the Louie's Kids Club, and this is where we talk about what I'm proud of over the years. So many years ago, we had this Louie's Kids Club. It was $12. You got a T-shirt, and it was very standard in minor league baseball. And we just blew it up. We said, you know what? We're going to do a free kids club. And so when we were charging $12, we had probably 300 to 400 members. And now we have 19,000. So
19,000.
19,000. And all you have to do is sign up on the website. It's absolutely free. And your first game that you come to, you get a free item for the Baysox, a free premier giveaway item. So if you really want to get involved and you have kids, that's the first way. We also have something called the Silver Sox program, which is for any fan 50 or above.
Terrific.
And we have unique events for the Silver Sox program. We'll have a meet the manager. We do one a month. We have a casino night. We have bring your grandkids to the game night. So those are the two programs that we have that are really growing that we're really proud of.
That's fantastic. Absolutely great. And then, I don't know whether we talked about that earlier or not. This is great. We got so much going back and forth here. The fireworks, too, are there now. That's a great get-together for the community as well. And like you say, it's just keeping the stadium itself visible for the whole year. Are there stuff that that you're yourself proud of that you've seen since it started? Obviously all these programs or something, but something that's like near and dear to your heart, Brian, that you've really loved to see since you've been there for a decade, that either you've seen grow or seen kids come back with their families to come to the game. Something that's that's really kind of gotten you, that you're like, hey, this is what it's about for me.
Yeah, we've hired people that grew up as fans. I mean,
that's awesome.
I had a young girl who was 16 years old. We hire 16 and above. Who came in the office wearing her Baltimore Orioles gear, and she was nervous. And she said, I would like to apply for a job. And I looked her straight in the eyes. I said, are you a Yankees fan? And she's wearing an Orioles.
Terrific.
And she was like, oh no, I am not. I am an Orioles fan. I've been coming to Baysox games since I was 3 years old. So I think that's really cool. I think it also says I've been there a long time. I'm getting old. But that we've hired these kids that grew up in our ballpark. And we find, I mentioned that our target demographic is 3 to 12. After 12, we've become a little less cool If that makes sense. You know, we're cool to a 10-year-old.
Right, right.
But a 13-year-old might want to go see the Orioles game,
Right.
not necessarily the lowly Baysox.
Right.
But it really is special seeing the kids return, and you kind of seen them grow up.
That's right. That's so great. And then, Brian, we're already near the end of our half hour. Unbelievable. Last question I usually like to ask. Anything I didn't ask you about or that we didn't talk about that you'd like to say? Anything coming up or anything about the Baysox people might not know about that you'd want to share, or just some final thoughts? Anything you want here?
No, I mean, from a business perspective, we think that we are a valuable addition to a portfolio from a marketing perspective for any local company and national companies. We have some national deals. But we just want to be a good partner. And I mentioned that we are a custodian of the public's trust, and that our building we do not own. We paid for it, but we don't own it. And we're looking to get a long-term agreement, long-term lease to stay in Bowie. We appreciate everybody's support in that venture.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Brian, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And thank you all for watching again. And we will see you hopefully next time. It will be spring, and we will see you on the April show for the Bowie Business Journal. For now, I'm David Emanuel, and thank you all for watching.